And here we go. Okay, guys, just giving you a live update here. I'm at the river. I'm on limited time. Zach Adams got life without parole that was agreed to by the family. And the reason is because it will keep him out of court from all the hearings and the appeals and just all the trouble they'll have to go through for 15 or 20 years trying to keep him on death row. They also gave him 2 consecutive 25-year sentences for the rapes. That way, if his conviction for the murder is overturned, he has a 50-year sentence that has to be served completely and consecutively, which would basically be, the rest of his life. So it's kind of a way to keep him in jail if the conviction of murder is overturned. And this whole life without parole was agreed to by the family reluctantly, but Holly's mom just said it's a decision that was made for the family to give them a chance to live their life, to continue to live their life, because the last 6.5 years has been consumed by all this. And I don't know, maybe he'd probably end up spending so long in prison anyway before he was ever put to death that all the appeals and their time they have to spend in court would be wasted anyway. I think if they put him with population, I think that'll be all they need. If you did not get to watch Holly's mom, I wasn't here. I wasn't able to film it for you, but if you get a chance to get on there and look at Holly's mom when she addresses Zach, you need to get on YouTube or Google or something and watch that, because she said she did not agree to life without parole because of that animal, pointing to Zach. She did it for her family. And when she addressed him, she told him to sit up and look at her. Then she asked another man to move, and, hey, Fletcher, she asked another man to move out of the way so she could see him better. And she had to ask Zach Adams to look at her 3 times. She said, "Look at me." And she said she knew Holly fought for her life, and she begged for her life. I mean, but you know what? She was nicer than me. She was nicer. Hey, Lee. She was nicer than me. I wouldn't have been as nice as she was. But she told him. And I wish the camera people would have showed him. Like, I wanted to see, was he really looking at her? Because she had to ask him to look at her like 3 times. Because he didn't have the nerve to look at her. She told him he had not shown an inch of remorse at all during this whole trial, and he hadn't. And he was all slumped down in his chair today. He's been sitting up at the table chewing his gum all week, and today he was slumped back in that chair like he didn't give a crap, like whatever. I'm assuming that's how he was sitting when Holly's mama was trying to address him. And I wanted so bad for him to speak. I wanted his mama to speak. His mama was there today. It's the first day I believe she's been there, but his mama was there, and she was supposed to speak, but she didn't. I guess she was going to speak to try to get them to rule out the death penalty, because originally the jury was supposed to do that, but it was done behind closed doors, apparently either yesterday or this morning, by the family, the defense, and the prosecution. So I'm assuming she was just there to plead for his life and him not to get the death penalty. But Holly's mom's the only one that spoke for the family. Nobody spoke on his behalf, and that's pretty much it. Life without parole, 225 consecutive sentences. And that was simply done and agreed to by the family so that they would not spend the next 20 years going to appeals courts and all that, trying to keep him on death row. So, I think they made the right decision. I mean, it's gonna be 20, 30 years before he's ever convicted or put to death anyway. So, I think it's time for them to do that and move on with their family as best they can. The mama did say today that her husband, Holly's daddy, that last night was the first time she had seen him smile in 6.5 years. So hopefully this family has gotten some justice. I do believe I heard the judge say that Dylan Adams and Jason Autry's, trials or plea agreements, whatever they're going to have for them, will also be held in Savannah at the same courthouse in Hardin County. They didn't say when, but I'm assuming it's going to be pretty soon. So I don't know how they're going to do that, but I'll definitely keep up with it. And I'll come on here and keep you updated on what Jason Autry gets. Remember, he's the one with the federal immunity. So not sure what he's going to end up getting. Dylan Adams is the brother. He is also convicted of all the same charges as his brother Zach. So be interesting to see if he just pleads out or if they have an actual trial for him as well. So that's my update for the sentencing this morning. If you get a chance to get on YouTube or Google the mom up there talking to Zach Adams, you need to do that. Like I said before, she was a lot nicer than I would have been. I would have chosen some other words for him, but I know she was just probably trying to do the right thing. But she did tell him to look at her 3 times. And so there you have it, y'all. A little bit of justice for Holly. We got 2 more to go. I don't feel like the trials will be near as big and as long as this one. I think once they got this conviction, I think the others will fall into place. And let me your comments. I've had some comments on here of people saying he didn't get a fair trial or he's not guilty, they didn't have any evidence. And all I have to say to y'all is either you don't live here and you're not aware of all the things that were not allowed in court that everybody else knows about. Look at his rap sheet. It's about 10 pages long. Matter of fact, I'm probably going to do a video on that. It is unbelievable. Assault on a police officer, aggravated assault, multiple felon charges on drug paraphernalia, cocaine, cooking crystal meth, you name it. Look at his rap sheet, y'all. Shot his own mama, okay? Either you don't know the small details from living around it, or you did not completely watch the whole trial. You might have got bits and pieces and made your assumptions. I believe he got a fair trial, and I honestly believe there should have been other things allowed in that trial about him that were not allowed in that trial. So I'm sorry, you're entitled to your own opinion, but either you didn't know all the facts if you said he's not guilty, or you're just wanting to let a killer free on the streets. I don't know. But you before you say that, you either need to have been involved in it since day one and kept up with it, lived around it. I mean, you can't just say that he's not guilty from picking up bits and pieces of watching a little bit of the trial here and a little bit there. I mean, there's a lot of things that weren't allowed in that trial that he's guilty of and has done that they couldn't even bring up. They couldn't even say he shot his own mom in that trial. I mean, come on. So I'm sorry, but if you put on my channel that you don't think he's guilty, I'm going to have to disagree with you. Hey, Christian. You need to go back. You can go on YouTube and you can actually watch every single day of that trial from beginning to end. So if you're in any doubt and you have any questions, you go back and you watch it all before you say that. And I might just have to do a video on his rap sheet because, y'all, I looked at it today and it goes back to 2002. It is 2017, okay? So I agree, Jessica. I agree. But I've had people on my channel say that he's not guilty. How could they prove him guilty? That somebody said that just goes to show an innocent person how things can be turned around and they can prove you guilty when you're really not. I'm sorry, but I really think that they proved him guilty without a shadow of a doubt. I think cell phones don't lie. I think those people he talked to weren't lying. I don't think Jason Autry was lying. Do I think Jason Autry left out some things? Yeah, I'm sure he did. But for the most part, he told what happened that day. And so all I'm saying is, you know, I honestly believe they've got the right people. I mean, they've had, you know, let's see, they were arrested in 14. It's 2.5 years to prove it. I mean, they've done what they should have done. But I'm just saying, I've had some people on my channel come on here and say they didn't think he was guilty. And I'm thinking, gosh, did you watch all the trial? Like, did you? I mean, I watched every day, every bit of it. I've kept up with it since 2011, since the day she was missing. I understand I'm around here at the river where the locals are, and I hear talk and I hear things probably that a lot of people don't know. And some of it's probably true, some of it's probably not true. But the bottom line is, there's a lot of things you didn't hear in that trial that are true, that he did do, that did happen. And it actually would have probably made the jury's decision a lot faster and a lot easier. So I'm just saying, it is what it is. If the family agreed to life without parole, that is their choice. It gives them a chance to live on with their life. And I respect them for it. I personally wish he would have got the death penalty. But if that's what they want, then, you know, you have to respect their wishes. It keeps them out of the courtroom for the next 20 or 25 years. So I'm sure they're tired of sitting in the courtroom. Christian said he's 99% guilty. Oh, I'm going to have to go with the... oh, maybe kabillion, trillion, million. Maybe that's what you meant. So I'm going to get off here. I just wanted to come on and give you an update on what the family agreed to. The jury did not have to go back and deliberate on his sentencing today. And that's what happened. I'll keep you updated on Dylan Adams and what they're going to do about him, and Jason Autry. I'm thinking Jason's not even going to have a trial. I'm thinking they're just going to come to some agreement for him. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. So we're up here at the river, and we were at the local cafe this morning, and let me tell y'all, that's all they're talking about up here. That was the conversation at the local cafe, when you walked inside, when you walked outside. It's huge here. It's huge. So, and it'll be talked about for days, months, and probably years to come. But you have all your little coffee drinkers in the morning, and all your older people, and we had our, couple local state troopers in there this morning. It's all the discussion at breakfast table this morning, okay? So these people up here, they never gave up looking for Holly. They never gave up looking for Holly's killer. And when I say never, even up until they found her body, they had so many searches for her every year up here. They never gave up looking for her. So these people up here are elated that they have caught this guy and convicted him, and you can feel the change in the air when it comes to Holly Bobo. So I got to get off here because they are rushing me to get out on the boat today, and I will keep you updated on Dylan and Jason. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you to all of my new subscribers. I hope he is tortured and in pain 24/7. I agree, Kicks Picks. I'm with you all the way on that. I hope they put him in population, and I hope they get him. That's why they had to keep him out of population in Nashville. He actually got beat to a pulp, but they almost killed him. So they ended up having to keep him in solitary, where he was let out 1 hour a day with a guard, because they almost already killed him right after they got him in Nashville. So, and I can go into more detail probably about that later. But I feel like unless they put him in some place where he's protected, I think he's going to have a hard time when he gets there. I really do. But I'm going to get off here. Thank you, Kicks Picks. I'm going to get off here, and I'll keep y'all updated. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I'm very appreciative, and I'm very appreciative of you talking and commenting to me while I'm on here. And I will see you probably in a couple of days. I'll probably try to come back and maybe do something on maybe Zach's rap sheet or something in a couple of days. But I appreciate y'all. Subscribe if you hadn't subscribed. Share me with your friends if you want to. And we will see y'all next time, and y'all have a great weekend.